Hi everyone, welcome back to the talk show. We missed you. I hope you missed us as well. My name is Ruben and today I'm with...
Hey everyone, I'm your girl Luto.
We just come from the Easter weekend, right? So I just want to hear from you how your Easter weekend was. How did it go?
My Easter weekend was lovely. I honestly said catch up on sleep.
Oh, great.
Yeah. My Easter weekend was great. How was yours?
I thought you wouldn't ask. Mine was absolutely epic. What was I doing? I was working.
Oh, cha.
And viewers at home, I don't know what you did for Easter, but I hope you enjoyed your Easter. I hope you didn't get wasted over the long weekend.
And if you did, shout out to you.
Shout out. So today we have our panelists on my left-hand side. Would you care to introduce yourself?
Good evening.
Hi.
Thank you for having me. My name is Wutomi.
Hi. So my name is Bernice. Good evening, and it's such a pleasure to be here tonight.
Okay. I want to hear from you guys. What does Easter mean to you?
And before we get into that, so today's theme, we're talking about the meaning of Easter and how the world has low-key, not even low-key, high-key, hijacked Easter.
So you can, yeah.
From my side, I think Easter is the way of suffering, is actually a remembrance of what Christ has done for me. And yeah, that's Easter for me.
Great.
Okay, so for me, I think Easter is a time to reflect on Christ's love for us. You know, it's a time where you kind of separate yourself and get to understand, okay, what did Christ do? And, you know, the extent of everything he went through for us as, you know, for you as an individual. So for me, I would say it's just to understand that, wow, Christ really loves mankind. And Easter is a reminder to say Christ really loves us, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, with how I grew up, what Easter means to me is eating chocolate during that time of April. Just during that whole period of April. Eating chocolate, Easter eggs, those little chocolate-covered marshmallows. I love those till today.
Yeah. Easter, well, okay, so before, like Ruben said, for me, it was going on holiday, and I'm going to the beach, you know, and especially as a child, it's a paid-free holiday, living nice, you know, that was what Easter was, and spending time with family, because I knew it was a time that I would spend time with my parents, and then now as I'm growing, it's about reflecting on the love Jesus has for us, because sometimes I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yo, Jesus left heaven, like you left heaven and you came to the ghetto of the world. Like, wow. So that's what it means for me now. Yeah. And then as we discussed what Easter means to us, guys, please let us know what Easter means to you. So let's talk about the origins of how we talk today, how the world has hijacked Easter and the different symbolisms we have today. So we did a little bit of a deep dive on the internet and found out, where does the Easter bunny and Easter eggs come from, because these are not related to Jesus. So the origin started in Germany, and that the Easter bunny and Easter eggs represent the goddess of fertility from the pagan faith. So what pagans or pagan faith is a faith that was non-Christian. And this is what people who are non-Christians were called at the end of the Roman Empire. So the Easter eggs and the rabbits mean the goddess of fertility, and her name was Estora. I hope I'm not butchering it. If I am, I'm sorry, I tried. So that is the origin of these symbols of the Easter eggs and the Easter bunny. And because in Christianity, Jesus means, the resurrection of Jesus Christ means rebirth. So, you know, centuries later, now these are intertwined. So that is where the Easter bunny and Easter rabbit, low-key started. So yeah, learned something new today.
How is the bunny and resurrection? I didn't quite get that when you were explaining. How do they come together?
So they came together. So what happens is, story time. What happens is, so in Germany, before the Christian era,
Why are you talking like you were there?
I wasn't there, but from what I learned today and what I read. So before the Christian era, as we know, Christianity had spread. So before the German Christian era, as they said, pagans, they had their goddess called Astora, who represents fertility and new birth and new life. And the resurrection of Jesus Christ is new life. And then what happens is, so how it spread to be how it is today, when I guess industrialization was happening and people were living to move better. The American dream, how Americans used to and still sell America is, come and live the American dream. So when Germans moved to America, Americans then adopted how Germans see and use the Easter eggs and the Easter bunny, and how like America can capitalize everything. And now, boom, here we are today, Easter eggs, Easter bunny. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Wow. The thing about, I think, culture is they advertise a lot of these things, and then you find that children grow up now wanting Easter eggs, wanting Easter bunnies, because they have not been introduced to the truth. They grow up, they get into this culture of Easter is about Easter eggs. Easter is about this and that. And I think many of us grew in that form to say we celebrate Easter. It's lunch, it's food, it's sweets and that. And then we needed to be introduced to the true meaning of Easter. So I think also looking at it, I feel that most of us who know the truth should be there to kind of introduce this to other people, We shouldn't be too quick to judge and say, okay, but why do you celebrate Easter this way? Remember, these are people who don't know. These are people who have been brought into this culture and grew up knowing this. But if you get someone who goes and says, you know what, there is the 14 steps, there's Via Dolorosa. Let's go take a walk without me having to say a lot. Come and experience what Easter really means so that your mindset moves from commercialized Easter to the true meaning of Easter.
For someone who doesn't know what Via Dolorosa is, so let's say I don't know what Via Dolorosa is, and you invite me, Ruben, let's go walk through Via Dolorosa. Can you explain what Via Dolorosa is?
Okay, so this is me explaining to you. I wouldn't go into detail because I wouldn't want to bore you. I want you to come and experience it. So I would say, obviously, we'd be having a conversation. Okay, Ruben, what are you doing this Easter? No, I'll be chilling at home. Why not come with me? You're young. I would probably say, let's go for a hike. But this is an educational hike. In this hike, you get to know what Jesus did, the walk. Because I think for me, if you were to say a hike, I'd be very interested, to say, okay, this is a hike. Unlike you saying, let's go to church.
I'm lazy though. I don't like climbing.
Don't worry. It's not hectic.
Really?
We will even count our steps on our phone. We'll make it a journey.
Okay.
And this journey has pictures. You will see when we get there. But as we are walking, and then maybe, you get to be introduced, then that's where I would start my conversation. That's how I would start my main thing and my main goal is get this person there.
Great.
Absolutely, I agree. And I think how you were explaining how this was commercialized from Germany, and we just all of us find ourselves in the same, and then we're moving with it and we don't even know what we're moving with. So I think for me it has to start with what is it that we're teaching the media through media, because media is the driver of everything. Right now, when you look at our media, we're still driving Easter eggs, we're still driving cruise bands. There isn't what is the actual meaning of Easter? We don't have that currently. So what is it that in media, if I'm in a media space, what is it that I'm doing actually to drive the true meaning of Easter?
And I think what's crazy about it is that this story, because this low-key actually comes from folktale, and the fact that folktale from the 17th century, which is the 1600s, is now coming all the way to us in the 21st century. That's the power of capitalism at its best.
And it's funny that most of us didn't even know the origin of it, You just see Easter eggs, you get excited. You see Easter bunnies, you get excited because it's chocolate. But there is actually an origin of all of this.
And the origin is not what I stand for. So why am I, what is it that I'm following? And then I'm actually even baptizing the generation that is coming in front of me. So it's very critical to actually know what is it that you follow. So whatever you're following, out there, you need to know where is it coming from? What does it mean for you? Is it what you actually stand for?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because growing up, I was told by my mom what Easter is all about. I was told that at a young age. So growing up, I got influenced by the world, and I'm seeing all these Easter eggs and all of that. And for someone who didn't grow up at a church, let's say, like me, who didn't grow up going to church all the time, they would also be sucked into that, thinking
Yeah.
that this is what Easter means and all of that.
Yeah.
So I was also lost at some point, but then the Via Dolorosa and also going to church, it helped me realize that, no, this is not the way.
I don't think you're the only one.
Yes.
You know, Easter
Yeah.
was the time of 7 colors. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Dessert.
Yeah.
You know,
Family gathering.
taking long drives, you know,
Yeah.
going on holiday.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is
Yeah.
Easter, this is long weekend, it's time for us to
long week.
bond.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
time where schools are closed. So
Schools are
we
closed,
chill.
exactly.
In Limpopo, actually.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You never think it's a time where you go to church, you know, throughout.
Yeah.
You go maybe 2 hours and
That's
I've
it.
done my part. Thank you.
Thank you. Correct. So as we're talking about this is one of the next topics is what are some of the Easter traditions that like people practice? So we have like our Easter eggs, those chocolate bunnies, Easter egg hunts, pickled fish. I learned that recently also that is a tradition.
Pickled fish.
Pickled fish. Don't ask me what it is. I've never had it. I don't know. I know it has fish.
Okay.
So for me personally, so before, like you were saying how you got lost, and now
Yeah.
because of church, you're able to redefine what Easter is. So for me personally, Easter, how you guys are talking about family time, like I had said earlier on, was going to the beach. So with my parents when I was younger, I knew Easter time going to Durban. I was like, yes, gonna get lit. Parents are gonna order we're gonna have a holiday house, go visit a holiday house in Durban, and spend time with my family. I had this one aunt, my mom and my one aunt cook. I was like, oh my gosh, I also know I'm gonna get good food and stuff like that. And I remember this one year, before life lifed, my parents were like, we're going to church. I said, church? Since when? What happened to Durban? What happened to the beach? What happened to, like, and no qualms to people who do celebrate it like that. I think that's also a nice way to celebrate it, to remember like the family and like Jesus. So you can even in your home incorporate Jesus and explain the meaning of Easter. Even if you are on a holiday, but you're still teaching your kids and your family members that this is the true meaning of this. It's not only for us to get turned this weekend. Yeah. And with that, we'll be right back.
Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section, whatever you have to say. And yes, after the break.
I'm excited.
It's such a great experience to come.
What a precious moment.
Introduce Mr. and Mrs. Foucault.
There is no better place to restart your Christian journey than to go on a pilgrimage to the land of milk and honey, the land that is mentioned more than 2,000 times in the Holy Scriptures that we read, the land of Israel. Join the man of God, Prophet Philip Banda, as he makes the annual pilgrimage to the Holy Land of Israel from the 6th to the 17th of August, 2023.
Thanks, guys, and welcome back. So today we're talking about the true meaning of Easter and how the world has hijacked Easter. So And before the break, we have some comments that have come through, and Ruben is going to read them to us.
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
all right. So we have a comment here from Tebuho Kosana who says, What I think Easter is like where Jesus comes to earth and forgives our sin. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have Frank Lotima. Easter, when growing up, was a time that we definitely had to go to church. It was the one weekend in a year that we couldn't miss church. I agree.
Love that for you. Look, some of us were confused as to why we were going to church.
And then we have Yantle, who says, Easter to me means my dad being home.
I think that's
cute.
I think that's actually a really important fact that we have not even low-key, high-key have lost the meaning of Easter, but we still haven't lost the family element of it. So I think that's really, that's cool.
That's quite true, because I remember when I was still studying in varsity, Easter, it was actually the time now to be with my parents.
Yeah.
So that family thing is still there. We're just like missing the key element of like, why are we meeting as a family?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that comment when he says it's a time for his father being there. You know, it kind of touches on the love element again. You know, your parents are there, people you love are there. So for him, he looks forward to having his father there. I mean, that's beautiful. Already you know that he knows it's a time to show love. You know, it's a time for us to bond. So that's quite beautiful.
Yeah. And then we have Tebuho again who says, me, Easter means that we need to feast. And I agree with her.
I feel you.
Wherever there's food, that's where I'm at.
Countess, and we have learned this about you over the few shows. We love that you were foodie at heart.
And all the food, it goes through. It's fine. Let me not show off my guns on live TV. Our next comment is from Nande, who says, for me, a lot of these holidays, including Easter, was all about visiting home, like in the rurals, and eating red meat.
Yeah. Sure. So another thing we need to talk about is how the consumerist culture, as always, comes into Easter. How now it's like a whole big marketing scheme. Like even businesses are like, guys, it's Easter. How are we driving sales? How are we doing that? What's your guys' take on that?
And there's a lot of Easter specials also, hey?
Yeah.
And especially with
Do you want to
food.
confess that you bought some stuff with the Easter special?
I would like to confess that I did not buy anything during the Easter special. No, but for real, they I think, like how you said it, they advertise it to a point where even food, you know, goes on special. Why? Because now we have to cook this huge meal. We'll be serving our family, you know, it's a time together. So why not? Why not make money out of it? You know? Why not put big signs, make money, buy new clothes? You know, that's the world.
Absolutely. We have targets for Easter. It's time to make money. Same as we're using Black Friday. So Easter also is there's Easter. The whole of April is Easter. So it's not only on those days where Christ is actually symbolized in terms of crucifixion and then until he rise from the dead. So the whole month of Easter is time to make money. So you need to make sure that you have your ads out, you advertise on time, and you sell whatever you need to sell. It doesn't matter what is it you're selling at this time. Whether it's food, whether it's a phone, whether it's a TV, it does not matter, because people are sort of laid low, they are relaxed, they're at home, they have free time. So you utilize that time to actually get money from their pocket. So you need to be wise in these times.
It also kind of like makes people want to spend stuff money that they don't have.
Or even I don't know if you've seen memes of people, so because normally people get paid at the end of the month. So the last time people got paid is normally on the 25th, on the 1st of April. And I know I've seen people's like stories and statuses going, so this money must last me until Easter weekend. Like I think that's how like the consumer culture is. Like we're thinking and I actually think now I'm thinking that's probably what happened with like my parents. Now they're thinking it's even worse. Now kids are on holiday. Now you have to think how you're going to entertain this child for the next couple of days, and then now you have to feed these people that are on holiday and your children. So I think and how you're saying is like companies have targets, and how companies are like targeting us to know that, okay, we know that they're gonna be free. We know that they're chilling at home. And what do people do when they're normally chilling at home and there's money in the account? They're gonna go out.
Yep.
So I think, yeah,
It's bad.
it really is bad. Any add-ons, Rubes,
So how are young people affected by this?
in your opinion?
Wow. The young people are affected by this because they just find these things on the media. It's being fed to them. So they don't know whether this is true or is not true. Is it something that I should follow or is it something that I should not follow? Like, you just go with the trend. It's made as in, like, it's a trend. You need to have that. You need to be in Easter. You need to go out. You need to make sure you have, like back in the days, we need to have new clothes for Easter, same as Christmas. You know, so there's a lot of things that have been fed to the youth. And now I think it's high time the youth actually, with the technology that we have, do some research, find out why this information is being fed, because our phones actually can hear me talking, and then they can actually now actually sell directly what you've been talking about. They can just say, okay, you've been talking about Easter eggs. You see Easter egg specials everywhere on your phone.
Yeah.
So you need to be actually smart and be educated, make research, do more research, find out and see what is it that is more.
And you know, also, I think even in schools, you know, before they go on holiday, varsity schools, that will be the conversation. What are you doing this Easter? You know, where are you going? You know, my mommy is taking me to Durban, you know, type of thing. So it's that kind of pressure also with the young ones to say, but we're not going to Durban. Why?
Yeah.
I want to go to Durban, you know.
Yeah.
But I think also, if you bring up your child to know that this is the way we celebrate Easter, and that child is strong in the way they celebrate Easter, there can be the child to say, why not come with me?
That's true.
Yeah.
Why not visit us? You know,
Yeah.
that's a child that knows this is the way I celebrate Easter. Come with me. I mean, I can always go to Durban any other time.
Yeah.
Now come with me. Let's go and do our hike.
It's true. Actually, my daughter was telling me today that when they came back from school, they asked them, what is it that you've been doing? And then everyone said, oh, we had Easter, we had what? She's like, I went for Vita Rosso. What is that?
Yeah. Which is, I think that's really eye-opening, and how, I guess, you know, you teach children and you grow up in this particular way, because once you remove someone from that, like I remember with like my older sister, I knew, like, I didn't spend Easter with her a lot, but when I knew if she was here in Joburg, I knew she was going to paint like she was city girling. She said, I'm in the streets, I'll see you guys when I see you. So I do think it's like different according to the ages, and I do think if I wasn't like in church and stuff like that, if I knew, okay, Easter is like church time and stuff like that, I best believe I'd be in the streets. I would be there, throats open, knowing that I can party from Friday until Monday. Oh, maybe until Sunday, and then Monday recover because Tuesday's work.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's just, that's what I have to
And you know, those are the type of conversations, I mean, even in the workplace, you hear people saying, it's Easter. I get to go to church this coming weekend.
Yeah.
That's the only time I go to church, during Easter. And then when you listen to those people, they're like, I'm just going to go for an hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
After
the
church.
whole year.
Yeah, after church they go and drink booze.
Yeah, you know, after church,
Yeah.
it's happening.
But I think that's also chilled, because balance, right? Like my mom, right? She says to me, right? So let's say like the previous Friday I was out with friends, and now she's calling me, and obviously she hears the noise, poof, poof, poof. No, I'm out. Like, I'll call you tomorrow when I get home. Then she'll leave me, and then maybe she calls me the following Friday. Luto, where are you? I'm at church. And she goes and she says, at least you know you'll spend all night in the club and then all night at church. So I think it's fine if someone is going to church. At least they've gone to church and they've done their duty, and then they're gonna go to the streets. Because I think that's best, because we can't chase people away if they're gonna do that. I think I think that's highly important. At least you've come, and if it's that 1 hour, but that 1 hour, I think does help someone in the long run.
Yeah. Okay, so we've spoken about how Easter is celebrated around the world and how it's been taken away from, the real meaning has been taken away.
Absolutely.
So now let's dive into the real meaning. What does the event of Easter, the crucifixion, mean to you guys? Like everything, the process, as you spoke about 14 steps as well. I'm sure you went through it. How is the whole experience, and what does it mean to you?
Okay, so there's something that I've been looking at, for the past couple of days. It's a scripture. It's quite amazing, In the beginning, when the soldiers, so this is a detachment of soldiers, the Bible explains, meaning a lot, thousands, coming to arrest Jesus, And then he says to them, "Who is it that you're looking for?" I'm paraphrasing. And then they answer him. And when he says, "I am he," the Bible explains that this thousands of soldiers stepped back and fell. So for me, it's Jesus chose to go on this journey, know. He could have escaped. He could have decided, peace, this is not for me. But he decided, there's a purpose. I'm going to go. Even when they fell back, I'm thinking, the soldiers though, this man just says, "I am he." You draw back and you fall. But then you get up and you say, "We are going to arrest you." I'm thinking at that time, if he says, "I am he," you draw back and you fall. Already it's like, who is he?
I would have said bad.
Who just speaks and you're down on the floor.
Yeah.
But then Jesus waited for them to dust themselves. I'm sure they were like fixing their swords. We are arrested. He chose to take this journey.
Yeah.
He had he had us, creation, in mind to say, there's a purpose for this, Yes, this journey is not an easy one, but there's a purpose for it. And he went through it. And the Via Dolorosa, in as much as we know, okay, crucifixion, Christ died on the cross, but it takes you step by step. The importance of Gethsemane, you surrender your will. What does it mean to you? You go through the stages. There's a Simon who comes and helps Jesus carry his cross. There's Veronica who comes and wipes, his face. So it's step by step where you get to understand that, wow, the extent of Christ's love for us.
Yes.
Wow, what type of love is this?
No, absolutely. I agree with Bernice. It's for me, it's like I cannot imagine, because he understood the assignment from start, and he said, "I'm going to do it. It's going to be painful." And that's why when he got to Gethsemane, it's like, "Lord, I know this is going to hurt." But and it's just now, it's coming now. I'm going to get crucified right now. But he still chose it. It's like, "I'm going to do it." And he's like, "It's not, not my will, but your will," kind of vibe, like, I'm going to just surrender and crucify myself. Like in one of the verses that we read, I'm not going to say which scripture, because I'm not trying to preach, of course. And then he said, like, you need to actually deny yourself and carry your cross daily. So this Easter remembrance is not only on Easter, it's a daily cross that you and I need to carry. So it's, for me, it's something that everyone should have in their own daily walk. And say, "Lord, I do not know." Sometimes you find yourself in Gethsemane. Sometimes you find yourself in crucifixion. We all find ourselves in those stages, in those steps, one way or another.
And I think, the other thing about Christ's love, he did not judge, he did not condemn. Even the people who were nailing him on the cross, he kept on saying, "Father, forgive them." Throughout the journey, he didn't point fingers or blame. And I think also for us, we're talking about how society does this and how, things were introduced to them. And I think it's also a lesson for us to learn to say, they don't know. They've never been introduced to this. So we can't now be saying, but this is the way you celebrate. But this, you are grooving, you are jiving. No, they've never been introduced to the true meaning of it. Christ never judged us. So who are we then to say, you guys don't celebrate? I was there also. I was eating the 7 colors, yes, but Christ said, your time will come. And now to say, wow. Actually,
it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, actually,
it's beautiful.
It's amazing to spend time, actually acknowledging what he has done.
So story time about Easter for those who fully don't know, like, what's Easter? Who's this? What? So, like, a quick summary. So story time. So Easter, we're celebrating the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and and how they're talking about the love that Jesus has for us. Like I had said at the beginning of the show, I always think about it. I'm like, wow, so Jesus left heaven, because me personally, I could never. I have angels of their colors I've never seen. Then I'm coming here to the world, to have flesh, to feel, to know how it is to cry, to have a back that's gonna be whipped on, and I've never been in human form. So it's God coming down in human form and living life here on earth for 33 years. And in his last final days, he goes, and this is why we celebrate Easter. So he gets captured, and then they jail him, and then he gets beaten, and then they whip him like to death, and then he gets hanged on the cross, right? But then, because God is the GOAT, he said, oh gee, he said, forget death, I'll conquer you, right?
Yo.
So then Jesus woke up from the death and said, bam, death. And this is why as Christians we celebrate it, because Jesus loved us and he died a brutal death, and then on top of that he said bam to death. So yeah, summary.
I think you
Remix.
need to do that. Pom, 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 pom.
Pom, pom, pom.
I have risen. I have risen.
That was a really good story time. That was
Like a quick summary
Yeah.
of Easter and the importance of it.
Yeah.
And that's, so it's just to represent the love God has for us, that he came down and he became human and he humbled himself and then died and then resurrected. That is the most important part, is that he woke up and he said, you can never catch me. What? Yeah, shout out to Jesus.
Hashtag.
So I know that Easter and Passover are in the same week, and the Passover, Jesus had his the Seder. He had it the week before the week of his crucifixion. So I just want to hear from you guys, like, what do you think of the Passover and how it is significant spiritually? Maybe a hard question, but let's just hear what you have to say. Just talk about the Passover and yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so the Passover, aka last meal, yes?
Yes, something. Yeah.
Yeah, last meal. Is it? I hope
Last
so.
meal.
Is it?
The
No,
Last
no.
Supper, it was during that week.
So
The
I know
Passover
that
was
he's
during
been
that week.
crucified on the same way, the same week where it was Passover. That's when he was crucified.
Yes.
And
yes.
hence now, when we're celebrating Easter, our
Passover
fellow
happens.
friends are also celebrating Passover.
Yes. Yeah.
Jesus had a Passover Seder, having a meal with his family, the disciples. The week of Passover is the time Jesus was crucified.
Yes.
The whole Exodus is about liberation, and the crucifixion is about being set free. Jesus also ate the 7 colors with his disciples, so that's a good tradition to follow, I guess. He drank wine and ate unleavened bread. So it says here, the whole Exodus is about liberation, and the crucifixion is about being set free.
So they are quite intellect.
Yes.
Yeah, they're quite intellect. Yeah, I thought it was just that liberation you're speaking about is them leaving Egypt to
So that is
to
the whole
land of promise.
Passover.
Yeah.
Them being the Jews.
Yes.
Yes.
They call it
Like back
Pesach, Passover.
Yes.
So it's the time where they were liberated from Israel,
Slavery.
from Egypt,
Yes.
from slavery.
Yes. Story
to-
time.
Yes. Yes. So Moses,
Did the things.
bam,
Pam.
stuff turned into a snake, bam, all that stuff, all that stuff, and then part the sea, bam, all of that, and all the people of Israel were liberated from their slavery and their Egypt,
Yes.
and they moved on. They were set free. So I think that's how it's interlinked with
So
Easter.
we're also sort of receiving, as the Gentiles, we're also receiving our freedom
Yes,
through
being
Christ,
set free.
basically.
Yes.
So I kind of
It's-
like the
Yeah,
whole. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. I loved the story time.
thank you. It wasn't as good as yours though.
Well, I think mine was easier because, at least like Jesus, the story of Jesus, it's something we grew up with.
Yeah.
And there's the movies like Your Passion of the Christ. Oh, I remember, so they played Passion of the Christ, story time. They were playing Passion of the Christ. I think I was in grade 2, and clearly we were underage, and I fully didn't understand the concept of Easter yet. And all of a sudden now, my grade 2 teacher, I'm seeing a man is dying, they're beating him. I'm like, what is going on? I had nightmares for days. I even slept with my mother that day. I think I slept with her for a week. So,
And you know that visualization of of Jesus getting beaten, I still feel like it doesn't do justice to what actually happened to him. Because when I think about it, what it means to me, like how he loves me so much, he went through all that for me. And he wasn't even sure if I would accept him or not.
Yeah.
So that's another thing, like, just blows my mind. Like, Jesus went through all that. And there's, like, to try to visualize it is impossible. Because even in the movies, it's like, yeah, this happened, but did it really happen? Like, oh, I'm sure it was worse.
Probably.
Yeah, I think the movies kind of have like filter to it, you know?
Yeah.
They filter it. Because even when they talk about the cross and you look at it, it's like, nah, I think it was much bigger and heavier than this one, you know? So just to know that, wow, he did this all for me and you, you know, for creation. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So another question is, do you guys, in your personal opinion, which probably another answer to, do you think that the Easter bunny and Easter eggs have replaced the symbolism of Jesus when it comes to Easter?
100%. I mean, we need to get it out of media. For me, it's a given. We need to get it out because it's just continuously destroying the generation and the generations to come. If we do not do anything about it, we're going to continue struggling and then actually spreading the truth.
Yeah.
Because now the truth is mixed up with this whole media wash hog.
With this thing.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I agree with that because also you look at the young generation, you know, it's all about Easter egg hunt.
Yeah.
You know, they're more looking forward to the Easter egg hunt, you know, to Easter eggs. When are we going to go buy Easter eggs? You know, it's all about Easter.
Yeah.
And then it's attached to an egg, to a bunny.
Instead of the true meaning, the true person, the true reason of this season.
Yeah, and it's not just Easter, hey. We have also holidays like Christmas, where people have just thrown Jesus in the gutter and said,
They put an X.
They
remove Christ.
They remove Christ and say, this is us. This is how we want to celebrate it.
Santa.
Even though it's not how it's supposed to be celebrated, but to say, this is how we want to celebrate
it. But gifts and Santa Claus and so on and so forth. Yeah. So we're just going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Today we're discussing Easter, what it means to the world versus what it means to me. My observations are the world has really managed to commercialize Easter very much. You can see it's been centered around booking time with family, you know, just going away on holiday, taking time to rest and taking time to go and play food and have fun. It's been centered around, there's a lot like unscriptural things that are involved with my Easter eggs, with my Easter bunnies. You just find out, where does Jesus fit in all of this? They've really missed the mark in terms of the main reason for the season, which is Jesus Christ. Coming to what it means to me. For me, this is a time for me to reflect on my relationship with him and to remember what he has done for me. For me, Easter is a time for me to remember to live a victorious life because my Jesus lives today. You know, it's a time for me to just commemorate on everything that he enjoyed before I even came to be. So it's a time to also thank the Lord for what he has done way before we could ever think we needed such salvation. So for me, Easter is really a time to to reflect and to learn more about what the finished work of Jesus Christ means in my own personal life. So yeah, thank you.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you've just tuned in, we were talking about Easter and how it's celebrated and the true meaning of Easter and how people have taken away Jesus from who is the reason for the season. People have taken away Jesus, the reason for the season. They've taken him away from the whole conversation of Easter. So I want to hear from you guys. What have you taken away from this conversation? Yeah.
I think my takeaway is, you know what, don't be too hard on the way people celebrate Easter. You know, you don't want to enforce your beliefs, you know, into them. I mean, it's a step-by-step journey. You need the person to be able to internalize it for themselves, you know, to be able to say, okay, I'm ready now to take this journey. So it's not about those who know the truth must go in now and say, hey, you know what, do this now or else.
Yeah.
Slowly introduce Easter to people, you know. If we are going to be ones who are going to change the concept and the mindset, you can't just wake up one day, put on your army and slow by slow, one person at a time, you know. That one person you talk to can talk to a different individual. And I think the most important thing for me is, in as much as we want to end this whole Easter bunny and Easter this and Easter that, show love.
Yeah.
You know, Christ showed us love. So be that person, you know, be that example. Show love to the next person.
Yes.
You know, don't now condemn or judge. Do it in love. Invite them in love, you know. Take their hand, walk with them slowly by slowly. That person will talk to someone else. Maybe that someone else is some CEO in a marketing company. You never know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think for me, the takeaway is I am an ambassador for Christ. So whatever I do, whatever I say, whatever activities that I do, people will like sort of copy it. So if I believe in the crucifixion and what Christ went through for me, people will ask, V, what were you doing on Easter? Can I come with you next time? You get what I'm saying? Like, I got comments when I went back to work, like, Ish, you know, I was thinking about you the whole weekend because I knew that I was supposed to come. But I'm like, no, it's fine. There's always next time. You can always come.
Yeah.
So those things that we do, whatever we're doing on social media, whatever we're doing when we're going out, whatever that we do, it shouldn't be like a standard book that one should follow. It's easy. Step by step, like Benny said. Today, if tomorrow doesn't work, you try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until that concept now, it's within you.
Yeah. So my takeaway and the importance and why we decided to talk about it on a youth show is just to, I think, bring us back as a youth, especially because we're young and like, okay, let me not assume, but some of us haven't had kids yet. And if you do have kids, it's something you can start incorporating when Easter comes. And if you haven't had kids and you're young and you like in varsity or early career, or you in high school or primary school, and your parents don't celebrate like you don't go to a church, or if you don't even come to our church, it's okay. It's to know the true reason, and the true reason is that Jesus came to earth, he died for you, and he resurrected. That's be important. He resurrected because we are serving a living God. And Easter is important to us because it's showing how God loved us, and he loved us the way we are. And he did what he did, like Ruben had said earlier on. Like, we didn't have to accept Jesus. We didn't have to accept what he did for us. We could have said, who said he must go and die on a cross? I didn't ask him. But he still did that, knowing that could be our response to it. So that's why I think Easter is important, and that's why we should remember the main reason. And that's why it's such a beautiful thing to remember, that such a big and glorious God came down in human form and he died for you and lived for you. And
yeah, how I would explain to someone my age, I'm very young by the way, explain to someone my age the importance of Easter and why we should celebrate it accordingly. We'll just remind them of the weight of our sins. If we think about the cross Jesus carried, which was very heavy, I read somewhere that it was about 80 to 120 kilograms.
Which is crazy, because first of all, and they were showing you flames the night before.
You are hungry.
You've been beaten.
And you're carrying
that's
someone
like 2
heavier
bodies.
than me. I don't know how many I weigh, but but that's like bodies. So imagine carrying the weight of your sin. So that's how I would explain to someone who doesn't know anything about Easter. Say, he carried the weight of your sin. And it's around this season that he died for you so you can be set free. Yeah. So that was my takeaway from.
Yeah. It's because, Jesus loves you the way you are. Come to him the way you are. And if you do celebrate Jesus, otherwise, like, that's also chilled. And if you do Easter things in different ways, as Bernie said earlier on, so don't go to your friends and be like, let's go to church. If you're going to church, you're going to hell. Nah, bro, take it easy, relax, step by step, baby steps. And I think every effort counts. Even if you said a small little prayer and you're going to groove, that's chilled. That small little prayer will eventually, years down the line, you'll see that you can now be chilling at an Easter service. And if you do have a church like ours, you'll be taking part in Via Dolorosa. So any last words?
It's a season of love.
Yeah.
Be an ambassador. I like what you said. Be an ambassador, other people will come show you pictures over the weekend. I also show them pictures. This is what we're doing. It's about Dolorosa, make it look interesting. In as much as they're making their weekend interest, it's like, oh, this is nice, but this is what I was doing, So be an ambassador. That's my take.
And someone will show you what they were doing. They were drinking and getting wasted. And then they will tell you Jesus also drank wine. In fact, he turned water into wine. That's what they're going to tell you.
Correct, because he did. Couldn't fight him.
So I'm going to drink because Jesus drank. Those are some of the excuses I've heard from my friends when they tell me all this stuff, and I'm just like, okay, do you, fam?
Just do you, fam? And even if they ask, be like, yeah, sure, do you, but you come though. Still come. You can go and recover at church.
Who said you can't come to church with babalas?
Honestly, who said you cannot come hanging? You can even wear sunglasses.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Matthew 11:28. Come to me as you are, all you labor and I have burdened, and I will give you rest. So come to me as you are. So I would say we've come to the end of our show, and I enjoyed this, and hope you enjoyed as well. See you guys again tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in, and don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until we see each other again tomorrow, shalom.
Bye.
Love descended so that we could ascend with him in glory. A journey foretold, love came in human form, destined to die, but still, love was determined to bridge the gap between God and mankind. Love labored hard, caught history of God, drank the cup of pain and suffering, beaten with no remorse, the ultimate sacrifice, salvation, his blueprint. Behold, the Lamb of God, bruised for our iniquity, every whip a gavel in God's hand, nailed for every nation, captured for our freedom. The earth quaked as chains broke, his blood erased our past mistakes. So glory, what kind of love is this? The kind that scoops low to reach the fallen, the kind that gave up his life that we might live, making us great 3 days later. When he rose again, we became born again. Jesus Christ, an atonement for unpunished sins, crucified for our cleansing. When he died on that cross, he extended an invite for you and I to dine with him in paradise. What kind of love stretches from everlasting to everlasting, the kind that had you in mind when he said, "It is finished." Behold, the risen one, crowned in glory, raised in majesty. Oh, death, Where is your sting? Behold our risen King, Jesus Christ, our victory.
I'm not your boy. 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 I'm not your boy.